What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. As always, I'm here with my good friend, Jeremiah Jerome Stringer. How are you, my friend?
Hey, yo, what's up, man? I'm doing great.
Did you like the remix during the intro music? Did you like that?
Yes, that is hilarious.
That's a new hit, man. I'm gonna see if we can't win the Billboard Award for that one. That's pretty good stuff.
Dude, I was dying laughing. For those people that are just listening on the podcast and not watching the live stream right now, you never sit through the countdown for the start of the live stream. And
what's going on, Hawkers?
Yeah, we have these soundboards, and John is cracking me up. He's assigned all of these buttons with like different sounds. We don't use them very often.
Got one life, live it.
Yeah, see, that's Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir. Maybe we need to start using them more often. But I edit all that out for the actual podcast episode and just start it. No need for the countdown. But man, I was dying.
I just felt like it's really important for people to hear your joyousness when you get all excited. So,
well, I'm excited.
People are logging in right now, getting on here, which is great. First ones in here were Keel Quest. First one's in the house. Doc Watson says he's been sitting here for a while, just didn't type anything. And then he follows that up with "Bring it." So
Doc Watson, man, he's around.
Love the freestyle. Love the freestyle.
I didn't know if they could hear that or not. That is amazing.
Oh, I learned how to make sure they could hear that. That was a new thing for me. So pretty pumped about that one.
It's funny.
So, Nomad Sergeant, what's going on, hikers?
Hey, that's what's up.
What's going on, hikers?
See the sound bites.
Okay, so Jeremiah, we're gonna have an awesome guest on tonight. He's not a first timer on this podcast. This is the second time he's been on, and we had a blast with him the first time. But before we get to him, we gotta say thank you to our sponsor for this episode, and that is Art of the Trek. For those of you who don't know what Art of the Trek is, it's a fantastic website where you can go and check out different trails, plan trips, see viewpoints. Right now, I've got it zoomed in on the Red River Gorge, and some of my favorite places out in the backcountry are in the Red River Gorge. Like right in here is Hanson's Point, which if you've ever watched my channel before, you know I love Hanson's Point. I've been up there about 1,000 times. It's a really awesome program they've got here. You can plan trips, you can check out different trails, see pictures from those places. Jeremiah, it's just an awesome setup.
Absolutely. Show them for the people watching or watching the replay or watching on the Backpacking Podcast YouTube channel, show them the overlays.
Yeah, we've got a lot of overlays. We've got a satellite trail view, avalanche slopes, which is a little more valuable if you're out west. You got water sources, campsites, scenic locations. Like I said, you take that off and you notice a lot of the things come off the screen. You can find out where huts and shelters are, camera feeds. The camera feeds are really fun in some of the trails that are out there. If there's a fire issue, you can click on that and that'll post up for you, as well as trailheads. It's just a really, really nice setup.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love that you can click on those special viewpoints and upload your own photos. And then also, you can use this tool. You just go to artofthetrek.com. You can use it to plan your trip, and they have a cool snap-on feature. If you want to plan your own hike, you can use that feature and create your own custom route. And it's super easy, super accessible, very user-friendly. Or you can use a route that's already been planned, and you can just click through, choose an existing route, go through the steps. Just going to ask you some questions, and it's going to basically assign you a route that is friendly for what your hiking level is, whether it's experience, what kind of shelter you're using, anything along those lines. So you can see John showing you here. So really appreciate it, Art of the Trek. Thank you so much for the sponsoring today's episode. And I encourage everybody, utilize this resource. Go to artofthetrek.com and check it out and plan yourself a super cool trip.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's just a great deal going on, and it's all free. I mean, come on, it's free. Might as well do it. So Jeremiah, now that we have thanked our good friends at Art of the Trek, I think it's time we bring in our good friend, Mr. Creator, trailblazer of the American Perimeter Trail, Mr. Rue McKenrick. How are you, man?
Hey, JK. Hey, Jeremiah. It's wonderful to see you. It's been too long.
I know, man. I think the last time we talked to you, you were in Minnesota. Is that right?
That's right. Well, and I almost ditched this because that jam, you guys have the best green room jam. I was in there listening to that. I was like, I'm going to go celebrate. Forget this. But I went in on that, Jeremiah. Like, I want to be one of the voiceovers. What do I have to say? Like, how's it going, hikers? How's it going, hikers?
I love it, man. We'll have to sign you a button.
Great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's what's made Jeremiah famous, is that statement, that what's going on, hikers. Except if you want to have fun with it, if you ever go to one of Jeremiah's videos and watch it and you click on the closed captioning, it always says what's going on, hawkers. So definitely go check that out.
Them, yes, but they should be included as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you guys aren't exclusive. Hawkers, come on in.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody
exactly.
Well,
yeah.
If you haven't heard, if you haven't heard the previous episode, we've had Rue on here before, and John has mentioned. Look at that, Janice, the Green Room Jams. We've had Rue on here before, and you are actually founding and creating the American Perimeter Trail. So, for those that haven't heard that previous episode, can you tell everybody a little bit about what the American Perimeter Trail is, and then what's kind of the cause behind that?
Great, thank you. So the American Perimeter Trail is essentially a 12 to 14,000 mile backpacking route that basically follows the contiguous United States. So in other words, the lower 48. And it does this by going through wilderness areas, through public lands, through private lands, through easements, through existing trails, cross-country routes. I used a multitude of ways of trying to go through this, and I'm about 10,000 miles into the trip, even as we speak. And during the creation of the hike, so I left to go on the hike in July of 2019, and while I was hiking, I created the American Perimeter Trail Conference. And that's the official trail organization. We're a conservation organization, but we'll just say a trail organization for the APT. And we're working on building this and putting it on the ground.
There you have
incredible.
It. Now everybody knows just how crazy, man.
You're only 10,000 miles in. That's it, huh? I mean, you got to be able to do better than that, right?
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. I don't know how much more time I have on this planet, but if I'm blessed to get in another 10,000 miles, that'd be wonderful. And
so
that's awesome. You got a little comment real quick. I met you in Sayad Valley. Glad to see you're doing well. So
great. Good to see you as well. Message me. I'm not I don't, maybe I remember you. It'd be great to connect. Go ahead and message me. Yeah.
So right now, just give us kind of an idea. So you're creating this trail, and you're planning ahead, if I remember right, a little bit at a time. Try not to get too far, because it's a big undertaking, right? This is like a lifelong journey of seeing this come to fruition. So
that's right.
So you're planning this out, and right now, are you on trail?
Right now, I'm not on trail. I'm actually at my home in Bend, Oregon. Or I should call it my base camp is Bend, Oregon. I'm on medical leave right now, so I'm looking to return shortly.
So at a little at a time, you're walking this continuous footpath before you're actually, how do I describe it? Like, you're recording it as you go, right? So you have the footpath, and you're kind of planning it little bits at a time. At what point do you sit down and say, okay, this is the actual route, and I'm going to start putting this guidebook together, or digitally, or however that's supposed to happen?
When I have a minute, honestly. So probably, I mean, I've already had app companies, and I'm not going to mention any names, but you guys know, like, the hiking and backpacking apps.
Sure.
So they've contacted me wanting to put the American Perimeter Trail on their apps. So developmentally, that'll probably happen sooner. Interesting enough, I did get a question today about guidebooks, and what happens from here is I go and hike another 3,000 miles, and I complete the American Perimeter Trail. And it starts where I left off, or where I began. So I started in Bend, Oregon, and I end in Bend, Oregon. And after that, I will consider maybe working on some guides. Then 2022 is looking like a lot of travel for me, which I don't know how it could be more travel than what I already did, but it's looking like a lot of travel. And during that time, there's another scouting trip that I'll do with some support. So the hike of this was has always been a scouting trip. That's why I didn't lay anything out before I left. I didn't do any planning as far as the route. The map that you guys would have seen back then was something that I drew. The web designer wanted to put it up, and I drew something on a napkin, so it wasn't accurate. And I knew it was never going to be that way. I didn't actually end up even including the Appalachian Trail in this hike. So things were very different than I could have possibly known back in 2019 in July.
That's incredible.
So I don't have a guidebook for the APT, but I don't often use guidebooks when I hike other trails. And like usually if I have a map, I'm okay. If I just have a map, I can kind of figure out resupply and stuff from there, because I don't know, that'll get you further than you think. And so I'd like to be able to provide those resources for everyone, but I have some other things that I need to do before that.
So would you consider?
And of course, if someone wanted to hike it, they could contact me and we'll talk about it. But I made a lot of decisions day to day.
Yeah.
So even if I had planned the whole thing out before I left, it wouldn't have looked anywhere close to what actually ended up happening. And then just for clarification, the route that I'm hiking is not actually the route that I'm going to seek to designate. A lot of it is. Some of it I have better ideas. So, and the trail, just like any long trail, will continue to change over the next couple decades. It'll change, in the beginning, it'll change a lot. And then as time goes on, it'll be minor maneuvers and fixes and relocations and that sort of thing.
I was gonna say, I got a chance to through hike the Sheltowee Trace, and it has changed multiple times. Like they're constantly rerouting it. There's a lot of road walking on it, and so they're trying to get the trail off of the road. And so in order to do that, they have to reroute things, and so there's constant reroutes going on. And I can only imagine a lot of the trails. That's what's happening pretty much all the time.
That's the game. Yeah, that's the game. You basically get, if I would have hiked the Appalachian Trail way back in the day, it would have looked way different than it does today. And I don't just mean the trail moved, but whole sections would have been different. Whole sections would have been on dirt roads instead of on trails. So the trail, all the trails are constantly evolving. They're a living historic representation of life and what we see in society, and they reflect it back to us. At least, my connection to them over the years, I can see all of us in the trail, and I see the trail in all of us. And I didn't mean to get too whimsical there.
No,
but I think it's a direct reflection. Okay.
We got a great comment about you. Rue is writing the hiker's equivalent to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't forget your towel.
That's awesome.
If you haven't watched that movie, you don't get it. But if you watch the movie, you totally get it 100%.
I haven't watched them. I read the book. Oh, no.
Okay, so you read the book. Okay.
Yeah, I read the book. Sorry.
They're both good. The book and the movie are good.
Wow. Okay. That was a nice compliment. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So John,
and I want it to be that experience for other people.
Sure.
This was never like just a personal adventure. I never pictured it that way. This was always going to be something to share. Privately, I own certain things like trademarks, logos, and some of the route isn't public. I'm the only one that knows it. But the full intention of when I decided to form the conference and the 501c3 was, I knew in that moment I was taking this thing that I've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort into, and I'm handing it over. I'm handing it over to the public. This is America's. This is my work, but I want to hand this over. And I just happened to be the one heading it. And I happened to be the one who had the vision that came to me that helped motivate me to not give up on this dream. and to continue on.
That's incredible. I think one of the things that that's been so fun since we've gotten to know you is just how easy you are to get along with. Considering, you know, I know when we talked to you last time, you said one of the hardest things about doing this is all the time you spend alone. Just the time away from people, and how when you come into contact with people, you realize how much you need people. And is it still, you still feel that way now that you've been home and everything? Or are you ready to get away from people a little bit?
I'm ready to get back on trail because I'm dealing with a medical thing right now that's called overtraining syndrome.
Yeah.
And I would rather be on trail than not training and not being able to do the things that I love. But I mean, the motivation is like, I want to hand this over. And as far as personable, I have to admit, coming into the front country for an extended period of time, I have like had a little bit of being afraid of people. And I don't think like people are frightening and they're not trying to harm me. It's just like a little bit of elevation or anxiety around that. I still think people are great. I think the situation with being alone or the isolation, I had read up on that before the pandemic, when we made a decision, or I made a decision to go into complete isolation at that point. I knew that it didn't matter if you were backpacking or if you were sitting alone in a jail cell, that ultimately isolation is going to affect your health. You know, it's going to affect your well-being. We're herd animals. We're social creatures. We have a very advanced language for a reason, and we communicate in so many ways. And I really thought that lacking. I wouldn't go as far to say that I necessarily wanted a hiking partner, but it would have been a different hike. It would have been completely different. And for those of you who have maybe spent some time or an overnight or whatever by yourself, compared to their times with people, I think you kind of understand what I mean, especially if you're one of my friends shared, like, you know, the dark came and they were like, oh, that's enough. I'm out of here. Good enough for me.
Somebody on here said, Rue, you are amazing. The APT is a huge undertaking and I respect your drive. So I'll make sure you see that.
Thank you so very much for that.
I wonder how long it takes before you start. I know it's not the same for everybody, but just in general, like how long it takes to be out in the woods before you come upon a situation after being out there that you feel some of that anxiety. And I may have talked about this before fairly recently, but I went on this trip through the Smokies with a group of other backpackers that I knew. And then we didn't really see anybody, maybe one or two people the whole time we were on trail, and it's just us. And then we hiked from the bottoms in the Smokies up to Klingman's Dome. And then, of course, that's a very, very touristy location because you can just walk up the blacktop. And then as soon as you started running into all those people, then you feel some of that anxiety and you're like, okay, there's too many people around me. Like, this is too overwhelming, like overstimulating your senses. You got any, I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting any of that. In other words, like, that wasn't my expectation. I'm aware of that, that there can be some adjustment. I want to take a moment here to say, as far as the anxiety or the depression associated with long distance backpackers and maybe ending or suspending a hike is a real thing. And I take it serious because and I'm glad I get to talk with you guys about this. You know, I've had friends, and a lot of people have, that after a long hike have killed themselves. So what I want to say is, like, the integration period, just hang together, guys, or give me a call and we can talk, because that's not something that you have to do alone. I personally, when I got back here, is like a lot of light sensitivity that I didn't realize was going on. But what would happen is other people would come into a room and I would be reading in the dark. And I didn't realize I was doing that because I had just been reading in the dark for a year and a half. So all the lights would be off, or sound is a real bad thing. Like, I've tried to, like, any alarms, like in the house, like your dryer, or the microwave or something has been really abrasive. So I've noticed some of
You would
that.
love my washing machine, Rue. You would love my washing
No.
machine. It does a song. It doesn't have an alarm. It does a song. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. When we got this washing machine, we had no idea we were getting a singing washing machine. So it does some little tune instead of, it's weird. You'll be sitting watching TV and all of a sudden you're do 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 do, and it's the washing machine telling us it's done. So
Yeah, I'm not into it, but if you put that jam on that I was listening to in the green room,
What's going
I
on,
might be.
Hawkers?
yeah, we get that going. We'll make that happen. Hey, we have a question for you real quick. Question for you. Have you had any scary encounters with animals or humans given the terrain you have traveled and how remote you have been? This is from Canoe Hound Adventures.
And by the way, before you answer that, Canoe Hound Adventures, it's tomorrow that we're actually going on to his live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I think he ran out of good guests, and so we were like that last resort. So he was like, "Hey, maybe we can get those guys on." I don't think anybody else wants. Yeah, nobody else is available that day, so we'll just get the B crowd in there.
That's right. Yeah. So, what are your scary encounters?
So before I have the count, like if you would just ask me right now, I would say I'm a lot more concerned about humans out there than I am with animals. I mean, they say wild animals are unpredictable, but not really. I mean, they don't tell you like a long story or try to manipulate you or like get you to go somewhere you don't want to or be in an unsafe spot. So, it's mainly humans. The animal encounters have been like, yes, I've had a bear come under my tarp before, more than once in one night. So it came in 3 times, and I didn't pack up and leave that time, which I'm not sure why I didn't, but I didn't. But I did have I was cowboy camping in California where I had a mountain lion that was circling me for about 25 minutes or so. And in the dark, it was 2:00 in the morning. And that was enough that I finally packed up and decided I'd had enough and I needed to get some rest. And so I packed up and left camp. And then on the APT, I mean, the experience, I've met all kinds of crazy people, and wonderful people too. But also people that were threatening me. I had guns pulled on me. I was shot at during the trip. And, I've mentioned before I was stopped.
Was that in Kentucky?
No, that was in Texas. And
okay, good.
Yeah, it wasn't in Kentucky. No, I got around your guys' country. Apparently, you guys prefer clubs to firearms because I got chased with a club in your neck of the woods. But
wow,
wait a second.
Yeah, there was. I still don't know what the problem was there. I was on an established trail, and it kind of went through the back of a neighborhood, and a guy saw me walk through the back, and he chased me. I mean, he didn't catch up with me for like a quarter mile, and he was chasing me with a club. He wasn't wearing shoes. He wasn't wearing shoes or a shirt. He was coming for it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. And
he's probably related to Jeremiah.
That's Kentucky.
No. I mean, he looked exactly like Jeremiah. I mean, it was like Jeremiah's twin. I mean, take your shirt off, Jeremiah. It may have been Jeremiah.
It probably was Jeremiah.
What's going on, Hawkers?
So what's the deal with these people that you have these crazy encounters with? Is it usually because either drug related, or is it usually because they think you're not supposed to be somewhere, or that they think they have rights to something that you don't, like some kind of land or something? Why is anybody pulling guns on you or chasing you?
Yeah, I think it's just mainly a misunderstanding. So it depends on which region I was. And so I'm making a bunch of assumptions here, but I can share with you with what was actually shared with me from the horse's mouth from people that had issues. And so when I hiked for almost 1,000 miles around the Mexican border. And so obviously like there was just a lot of border patrol, and they just wanted to know if I was a coyote or if I was running drugs or what I was doing or if I was crossing. So that was it was fairly regular down there to be stopped. So I think that was mostly their motivation there. The rest of the country, it was because I got asked this question because I got stopped by law enforcement mostly, not by random people. And I got asked this question by a reporter that said, so what were you doing that you got stopped all the time? And I said I was walking. And they said, yeah, but did you have was your hair a certain way? Or did you have piercings or something? And that's a moot point because if I was, that's not illegal in this country.
Right.
So that really, and then they were like, well, are you political? Did you have political statements on you? Is that why you were drawing attention? It's like the same thing. It's like, you can't detain someone for having a political opinion. Now, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't broadcasting. I was really trying to go under the radar in a lot of these places because I didn't feel safe. So one of the police officers stopped me for that very reason. I had it happen more than once where law enforcement stopped me because they were afraid that the local people would hurt me. So they just basically said, if you camp or spend time around here, you're going to get shot. So I heeded their warnings for the most part. I had one time where I got stopped for having an accent, and that was from the police officer. That would happen
to Jeremiah too.
That would happen to Jeremiah too. Yeah. That was in Louisiana, where I got stopped for having. And the police officer told me, he said I got a call about a guy with an accent, so I had to come check it out. And sure enough, there I was, and we had a nice conversation about that. He ran a background check. He searched my stuff, and then I went on my way. So mainly, if you have a long distance backpacking experience, typically you're going to be on established trails or in and out of non-trail regions or trail communities, I guess is what I meant to say. And during a lot of the APT, I was traveling through non-trail communities. And so I was not seen as a backpacker. I can't tell you exactly what that judgment was, but it wasn't safe. It was dangerous. And so then people would often want law enforcement to make contact with me just to find out what the story was. And they would search my stuff and run background checks, and then they would let me go. So, and I don't have a count, but it was over 20 times that happened. And I never had that happen on another backpacking trip. And really, if you don't go chasing waterfalls, there's a lot of comfort with that. There's a lot of safety because you're with other people, you're in numbers, and you're on trails that are being used, that are well known. And then also when you're going to trail towns, people know that you're a backpacker, you're there to resupply, you're just going to get some supplies and you're going to leave. But if you're chasing waterfalls, then you come across a different experience. So I just simply had a different experience. I'm completely dedicated, and the conference is completely dedicated to not having this happen to other hikers. The communities in which I choose to have the trail through or near, I will be having conversations with the politicians, local politicians, and the police to let them know what my experience was when I previously came through there, and that I really would appreciate it just for them to know there's more of me coming. Okay. Yeah. And the community is welcoming us. The community, now that they know who we are, they're welcoming us. But I just want you guys to know that. So in 2022, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling, and I have every intention of making those connections with those local municipalities and having those handshakes and those tough, difficult conversations with law enforcement. I also made friends with law enforcement that I still keep in touch with over this. And with these issues, I call them and say, what's the best way about this? And they help guide me so that we have a safer environment and really, backpacking under that kind of stress is a different experience than I want others to have. I had it and it wasn't pleasurable. And I was kind of doing the looking over my shoulder thing in some areas where I didn't want to, and it's just I'm really dedicated to making sure that areas that go through non-trail communities end up becoming trail communities. I want everyone in this land to be able to enjoy this and experience this. So I'm getting out in front of it as best I can.
That's awesome, man. That's
and
awesome.
some of that meant sharing the information with the law enforcement. So they're like, some of them are probably watching us right now.
That's awesome.
So good.
That would be
so
great.
Good.
That would be great. Last time you were on, we really didn't get to do a lot of questions because we just got to talking and we kind of didn't get a chance to. But there are definitely some questions coming up right now. All Things Outdoors wants to know, after 10,000 miles, what did you find to be the most dependable piece of gear that you have?
Oh, dependable gear? Ooh. Dependable. Hey, thank you for the question, by the way, because whoever asked that, I'm sorry. Outdoor. The thing that needs to be the most dependable on a hike is your emotional balance. And the thing that you will find that will get you the farthest, the most miles, is not going to be the pair of shoes you're wearing or even your gear or your food. For me, it was having an open heart to the experience that was in front of me, because otherwise you get into a position of fighting what's in front of you. It's like getting angry at the rain. I'm not saying I've never gotten angry at the rain, but it's futile. So having an open heart allowed me to have a lot more experiences that I would not be open to or closed down to, instead of just receiving the joy in it. And but I've never had a piece of gear be dependable. I don't think so. And I'm sorry to not answer your question here fully, but in 10,000 miles, the best information, if this is what I think you're asking for, is not to depend on any piece of gear at all. I came into backpacking as a minimalist, not as an ultralighter, because that didn't even really exist at that point in time. And what minimalism requires you to do is to not really care about your gear. I mean, because it's essential, but then anything can be rigged and like made to work in a certain situation. And I didn't have any gear that traveled with me during the whole trail because everything got wore out. I mean, 20 some pairs of shoes, many backpacks, several sleeping bags, like everything had a limit to it. So I hope I answered your question. I really do.
Well, we got another question for you. Have you ever had any serious gear fails on your long hikes?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, certainly. I mean, walking almost barefoot because your shoe is completely worn through. Absolutely. Ooh. I don't know what's wrong with my crotch, but I can't keep one to save my life. I've tried. I have tried this. And that's why like half the time I wear a skirt or a kilt when I'm backpacking, because I can't manage a crotch. Like I can't do it in, and it's not the back country. Like I can't do it in the front country either. Like they just do not remain in my pants. I don't know why. It's like the whole piece of the textile perfect crotch gone. So, and then I guess
that was definitely not what I was expecting to hear about a gear fail.
That's the soundbite.
That's a fantastic gear fail.
Hey, will you tell us about the kilt or the skirts that you wear? I've been curious about this. We've been watching Outlander on Netflix, and it's a Scottish, it starts out based in Scotland, and all these guys are wearing kilts. And I'm like, those look like they're made of wool, and it looks like it'd be airy and stuff, but it looks like it'd be heavy. Do you use a different kind of material, or are they made specifically for backpacking?
Well, one of our board members just told me about Highlander yesterday. So I don't, because just talking about this situation that I wear different clothes when I'm backpacking at times. So I don't know what they have on. I haven't got to check it out. She said she was going to send me some episodes or something. But I started making skirts. Like you can call them kilts, whatever. Like it doesn't affect my masculinity. Like I'm not a person that's afraid. Like I don't know. I'm a person, like I'm a man. It's fine. Like I'm not worried about someone calling me a sissy. But
they're not hiking 10,000 miles, Rue, so they can say whatever the heck they want.
Okay.
If they want to say they're more of a man than you, they're lying. So
they can. But I started making these skirts. I called them merts because I'm a man, so I put an M in it. But I started making them 20 years ago, mostly doing my hiking in the Appalachians at that time, and so they've always been homemade skirts for me, and here's what they're for, because it's not a fashion statement, because I typically wear them when I'm not around people, because I have been had a little bit of harassment in the front country. Most people don't care, but the main purpose of them is it's not fashion, it's utility. So the kilt is there for when things go south. So I don't know why we're talking about a crotch again, but anyway, so when there's an issue down there, so you can go commando. I don't know what you guys call that, like free balling or something. And you don't wear underwear, but you just wear this thing, and it helps to manage chafe. It's a lot more comfortable. You have to be careful of bugs. I have been stung in the nether regions. I'm trying to keep this clean. I don't know.
Thank you.
Nether regions works, man.
You're doing a great job.
I have been stung there. So you just have to be if you're in a buggy situation or there's bees, I would say put on the pants. But otherwise, it's basically just. It saved me a couple times on this trip where I had things going south. So yeah, which is just part of backpacking.
See, I thought you could get chafed more. I don't know. I got chafed pretty bad. On the long trail, there was a 9 or 10 day stretch that I hadn't showered, and every day you're using baby wipes or whatever to clean up in the morning or at night, and when you go to the bathroom and stuff. But my inner thighs were getting chafed really bad. So at one point, I was just backpacking in whatever underwear that I'd taken, the sports underwear. And you're walking through the woods. There's really not anybody around, and that helped a lot with the chafing. That and powders and creams and stuff. But I thought maybe the skin on skin may make it worse. You think just the airing it out makes it a lot?
Jeremiah, are you sure you want to go into this? I'm going to go. So, this is, here, let me tell you, if you want to go on this thread, I'll give you the whole thing. And I can't believe I'm going to do this. But anyway, so yes, management down there, I got folliculitis from heat stroke during this trip. Oh, and what that is 1,000 boils. It's not you don't pass it from person to person. It's basically a reaction from your immune system when you're overheated. Some people, if they've been in the sun, they get blisters and stuff on their skin. Well, this is getting 1,000 blisters on your entire down there region, everything.
Oh, man.
It's treated as bacterial. Sorry. It's like I said, you can't pass it from person to person, and it just comes from being overheated or that area being overheated. And so anything touching anything down there was hurting. I walked I walked on the trail. I don't know how to, what is it called?
Sumo?
I was riding a horse,
just straddling,
I was straddling, walking for days. I was making about a mile an hour. I mean, it took me about 10 hours to make 10 miles during that time. And so it was so bad that I agree with you, Jeremiah. Sometimes the sports underwear actually makes the situation worse.
Okay.
And also, if you have a situation like that going on, make sure you take off your underwear at night. Don't sleep with those things on. But what I did is, okay, so I'm having all these issues. I end up at a clinic that I don't know if it's a vet clinic. I think they were seeing animals, but they allowed me to come see them because the nearest hospital was a couple hours away.
Okay.
Probably at that point, did you smell like the animals too?
Yeah, no. I mean, I didn't smell like the animal. I smelled it was a wonderful fragrance coming from me. I mean, I had 3 women in it. I mean, Listen, I was dirty. Right. Okay. So I was dirty. Right. And I'm in an examination room with 3 women. And I have my shorts. I mean, like I have my pants down. And the doctor says to the one, okay, you hold the flashlight. They're down like examining. And they're like, you hold the flashlight. And the doctor said to me, Rue, you grab the handle. And she told the other nurse to grab the apple back.
Oh my gosh.
And so they're up there like examining me. And so this went on for a while. I got this ointment. It was like $200 for this ointment. It worked. And but what happened was I realized that the skirt wasn't completely working, and the sports underwear that you were talking about, that wasn't working, but I knew I had to do something to get some separation. So the only thing that I could find, like, I was on foot. So the only thing I could find in the area is I ended up walking into this village. They had a dollar store there. And so I went in to buy some hiking underwear in the dollar store, and they only had women's underwear. So so I'm looking at these women. So I'm looking at this women's underwear, and I know I have to do it because this is it. Like, either take it or leave it. And like, and they have like, bows on the front, like little bows on the front of the underwear, which I thought was like kind of overdoing it, ladies, like a little bit. But at the same time, I was like, that would be kind of neat if they put bows like on men's underwear. Like, I don't know why we don't get bows, but there weren't any bows on there. And my idea here was to, I wanted to get like everything contained. Like I was trying to get all the furniture into the same room. Yeah. Does that make sense?
That
what
makes
I'm saying?
sense.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to get the furniture in the same room, but I got like leg tables like sticking out and stuff. So they had this like cut that looked like it was going to work. There was a polka dot one, a pink polka dot one, and a purple one, and I really like purple, so that was good. But it said on the like, I'm reading through the package, and it's like whatever, it says like sensual fit or something, and I'm like, well, okay, that sounds good. I mean, I can't find a negative in that. I don't know what I'm going to use that for, but that sounds good. And then it's like mentions that it has the little bows, and I'm like, yeah, the little bows are fine. And then it says like all 100% synthetic. I'm like, synthetic, like awesome. And then it said cheeky, and I was like, what the is cheeky?
Cheeky?
They were cheeky. Like, I still don't know what the hell cheeky means, but they were cheeky. And so I wore them. I wore them for about a month. They were excellent. They were just,
wow.
They were perfect. So I guess what I'm saying, Jeremiah, is
you need to start wearing cheeky underwear.
Well, I just think like in that situation, next time, find your local women's underwear. It doesn't have to be women's underwear, but find something that's going to contain the furniture in the same closet or whatever, get it together. Get it together, Jeremiah.
That's fantastic advice from a seasoned veteran. I had to now label this episode is labeled R.
Rue is like the MacGyver of backpacking underwear. That's basically what we've learned today. So,
he's an expert.
Okay,
you can cut holes in them if you have to let things hang out. I'm serious. Like, there's so much. This is the things you don't hear, but there's so much you can do. There's so much.
It's learned through experience.
That's right. So we're gonna completely take a left turn now, and ask you, have you ever hiked the Florida Trail?
Hard left.
That's hard left.
Do you have to wear a bikini or something, or why did that question?
It's literally the next question on the list here.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh, well, speaking of women's underwear, yes, of course. So, oh my, I have plans for Florida. I do have plans for Florida. So, thank you. No, I haven't spent time on the Florida Trail, but yes, there's some plans there, and I'll let you guys know what those are when it's time to do that.
Well, I have a question for you. So you talked about earlier, this is unrelated to underwear. You talked about earlier you running into all these people, and you had great experiences and poor experiences and anywhere in between with people that you encountered on trail, whether it be civilization or backcountry. I want to know what kind of unsolicited advice did you get? Any good? Did you get any bad? The reason why I'm asking is because recently I started riding a motorcycle. And you may not know this, but it seems that whenever you get a motorcycle, everybody, whether they ride or not, seem to have some sort of advice for you, even if they've never even sat on one. And I assume that you, being the expert that you are in backpacking with all this experience, you know some bad advice whenever you hear it. So can you share with us any unsolicited advice that you've gotten on trail?
Well, I mean, this is a singular reason maybe why I didn't have kids, because I didn't want to be told how I was doing it wrong. But, I love kids too. I don't have any of my own, but yeah, as far as like, I don't know if I ever got bad advice. I mean, I've heard some interesting things. People are always really concerned that I don't have a firearm on me. So that's always like a pretty big concern of people that I get asked about. But yeah, I've heard all sorts of things. Like one was covering yourself in this oil so that bears will stay away from you. And it just sounds like a horrible idea.
What?
I don't know where they came up with. Yeah, I know. Like they thought it was a bear repellent
what kind
or
of
something.
oil?
Okay, I have to do this because I'm reading through some of the comments, and this is really hilarious, man. This is okay. So I'm gonna go down through some of these. Usually we devolve into poop talk. This week it's crotch talk. Let me keep going here. This was hilarious. One person just says, "I'm happy I witnessed this live." Hiking garters.
Good.
What is this? Hiker's Victoria's Secret? This conversation is devolving quickly. And then this beats any poop talk this channel has ever had.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, man. This is hilarious.
That is awesome.
Absolutely hilarious. Here's a good one. Bow chicka wah wah.
I mean, thank you. Who's that? Jeff? Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I'm and that's why I love doing interviews this way, because I'm not wearing any pants right now. So this is perfect. I'm serious. There's nothing down there. Nothing.
That's awesome. Hilarious.
I'm like spitting all over my mic. I'm laughing so much. This is great, man.
Me too.
This is great.
So just the
Someone
bear
said they
oil?
heard that pink bows attack bears. You know anything about that?
So just the bear oil, that's what comes to mind on the bad advice?
Well, I mean, okay, so what happens with me is that it's that I get advice, but a lot of the times it's based on someone else's experience.
Sure.
So so they may give me advice that would be good information for something when I was on like maybe one of the more used trails or was around other backpackers or something of that effect, but it just doesn't really translate to exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just get questions up and down from people. And then online, like I didn't get any advice while I was out there, but as soon as I took a med break, I started getting a lot of advice, and I just say thank you, because it's just, I mean, it's nice to hear different ideas, and some of it applies, some of it doesn't. And I mean, we may have had very different, like someone was contacting me telling me I should use these wipes or whatever to clean up with. But, you know, when I thru hiked the Appalachian Trail, I didn't use toilet paper. Like I didn't have wipes or toilet paper with me. Of course, that was a long time ago before people even had wipes. Like that wasn't a thing back then, but I just used what I found in the woods. So, sometimes I'll get advice around something like that it just doesn't even really like apply. I've had people really like see me in person, and I'm typically wearing tennis shoes, and I usually have a lot of people that tell me that I'm not going to make it very far in my tennis shoes. So that's a pretty common one.
They think you should use
and
boots.
Yeah.
They think you should be using boots.
Or a car.
Yep.
That's what a normal person would use. To travel around the entire U.S., it's usually a car.
Somebody actually just posted, really? Someone asks a man wearing a skirt and bow ties on his underwear if he's carrying a gun?
Well, I carry 2 guns. Ooh.
Oh, watch out.
Flex
on
on
the way to the gun show.
Let me ask you, since you mentioned this, we'll do a little poop talk before we wrap up here. We're closing we're closing in on an hour, but we might as well squeak in a little poop talk. Yes, no Bison says, is poop talk next? It is indeed. So you did the Appalachian Trail in what year?
That was in 2003.
Okay, so it's been a hot minute. Baby wipes weren't the thing back then whenever you're through hiking. So
no, nobody had those.
You just use whatever you found in the woods. So I got a couple questions for you. First, if you don't mind me asking, Doc Watson says, bet you learned what poison ivy looks like real quick. So the questions are, one, what are the go-to most luxurious wiping, I guess you would call them, apparatuses or devices or whatever? Like what if you had to pick, what's your go-tos? And then second, what's the preferred method? Is it the hanging on the tree? Is it the squat? Is it the hanging the butt off the tree? You don't have to share if you don't want to. I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable situation.
Well, okay. All right.
Really being asked right
Yeah,
now.
we're kind of there.
Welcome to the party, baby.
Okay, so that's easy. What do I want to use? Furry animals, because that would be the best.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
But you would need probably a dead furry animal, because that's rude otherwise. So please, if you use furry no furry animals got hurt during my hikes. So just know that, everyone. But I know it sounds weird. It's like rocks, sticks, moss is good. And then, so as far as apparatuses, I guess just whatever you can find around you. And then what was the other? Oh, hanging? Yeah. Oh, a tree. I backpack through a lot of places that don't have trees, but if I didn't know what you said, hanging in a tree?
No,
I wouldn't do that one.
Not hanging. So
I wouldn't do that one.
They call it
that's a call. That's a really good call.
I wouldn't do that one.
From trees.
You're hanging. You're squatting down, but using the tree as leverage, and you're holding on to it like a pole, so that you can hold yourself up, and you're not just using your legs to squat.
Tree hugger.
Or a tree that's down, letting your butt hang off.
Oh no, definitely not the latter. No, definitely not over the tree hanging off. Splatterish. I just made up that word, but it sounds like a bad, nasty deal. So there's pros and cons to all this. I'm going to try the tree method. I don't like the sitting over the log thing. It's just, I don't know. If it's for you, that's fine. It sounds messy. I'm not sure, but here's one thing, and I'm not going to give you the details, but it did happen more than once on the trip. And that's when you grab you're like, okay, I was really ill at the end of the trip. So I was like throwing up and going, 15 times a day or whatever. So like a lot of times I only had a second, like I didn't even know it was coming and it was already there, sort of deal.
Yeah.
And just if you grab onto a tree or a bush or something, like it's going to have to be solid, because you will end up in your poop. Because when that tension goes, you fall back and you land in it, and
that's a messy cleanup.
It's not. Yeah, it's not good for you. It's not popular with your hiking partners. It's not a good look. You know,
Here's a
unlike you
question for
guys.
you.
Yeah. Hmm.
Here's a question for you. Do you pack a portable bidet? You ever use one of
Oh,
those that you put to a water bottle?
I think that's a great idea. It's not something that I use, but yeah. I mean, you could probably wash a car with those too, because I'm very much a person of utility that likes everything to have like multiple uses and just the bare minimum. So,
Hey, two
but I
thumbs
don't
up,
own a,
man.
There
yeah,
you
but I
go.
don't own, yeah, but so you could wash a car with it. I think would be good. And I don't own a car, so um, how about this? If I use it this summer, I will let you guys know.
That'd be great.
Hey, keep us up to date on the pooping. There you go.
Here's the favor I want to ask of you, and it has nothing to do with women's underwear or poop. But when you're going into these towns, when you hit Kentucky, you have to call us, and we have to meet up with you and grab lunch, because
Yes.
this is nice talking in video like this, but
Yeah.
we have got to get together with you at some point and actually have lunch,
Absolutely.
break bread, talk, hang out.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to believe we're almost at an hour already. Can you believe this?
That's great.
This is what happens
it's
every
great.
single time.
That's right.
So, Rue, what I want to do is
Mhm.
I want you to just share with everybody what's the best way to find out what you're up to, what you're getting into, what's going on with the American Perimeter Trail. Why don't you share that information with everybody?
Great. So our website is www.americanperimetertrailproject.weebly.com, and that website is going to be replaced with the American Perimeter Trail Conference website, which is a .org. And like I said, we're a 501c3. So that's being developed even as we speak. So we'll see that coming online here in the next 2 months or so. And there will be a member portal there. Other than that, find us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You can just put in Rue McKenrick or search for American Perimeter Trail, and you'll find oh, this is nice. This is something new. There's a community page on Facebook for the American Perimeter Trail, and so that gives community members an opportunity to post rather than just, me and the board members at the conference. So that's how you can kind of connect with us. And I don't get to follow people a whole lot, but I do. I always love it when people reach out to me, and I try to respond if I can. So.
And you've got someone who's really been working hard for you to put all this stuff together online while you're on the trail. You want to talk a little bit about her for a second?
Oh, great. There's two people that I need to talk about. One is Layla Grace, who's the vice president of the American Perimeter Trail Conference Board. And then also our secretary of the board is Danny. So Layla, when I'm on trail, she takes care of mail drops and I'm like 100 different things. And when I'm off trail, she takes care of 100 different things with the organization. Right now we have a run. We're sponsoring a run, which we've done before, 5K, marathon, and ultra marathon. We have so many fundraisers. We just completed a silent auction. And so Layla and Danny, who also is on the board, help me with all that. Danny often schedules interviews or gives us promotion so that we can talk about the work that we're doing with the APT. Both of them are so very special. They're both two people that I didn't know before I started the hike. That I started working with them before we even met. So, and I still haven't met Danny in person. And they're just wonderful individuals. And so when I'm on trail, if you're corresponding with us, you may correspond with them, anyone out there. And I speak with them regularly. So just so much gratitude on my part for all the work that they do.
Well, Layla just posted that there's a virtual happy hour coming up on Saturday. You want to tell everybody a little bit about that? Or
oh, you see, that's why we have her, because I left to my own devices. No one will ever hear about the American Perimeter Trail or about my hike. I'm serious. Like, left to my own devices, thank God I have these two. I'm not ignorant. I'm just slightly removed in some ways. So she reminds me of things like, okay, it's not enough just to have something, but you have to let people know. So we have a virtual happy hour on this Saturday. We usually ask for a $5 donation to go to the APTC for that. And that's a point in time where Layla and Danny and myself, all three of us are there. And then we have a wonderful time just joking around and talking with whoever shows up. So it's very informal. It is happy hour, so you can have your favorite non-alcoholic or alcoholic beverage. And we just have a good time and talk for a couple hours and really enjoy it. So you can go to our website and you'll see it there at the store. You can sign up for that. And I'll see you on Saturday.
So that's
great.
That's Saturday.
Chris Oconee actually just said he met Layla at a shelter in Pennsylvania, and he learned about the project from her there. So she's definitely someone who gets outside herself. So that's cool that you've got someone like that working with you.
Yeah, Danny and her both do a lot of hikes and meet and talk about me. Like, I'm so uncomfortable talking about me when I'm on trail that I normally don't say anything to anyone. So they're, they do, they help me with that. So, yeah, it's just great. It's a small world.
Yeah.
It turns out it's a really small world, and I'm starting to really like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't want to quit after we've had you on here, man. I'm sorry.
Hopefully they don't say, Rue, you can do any interview you want. Don't ever go on the backpacking podcast again.
That's right. That's right. Well, the thing that I so appreciate about you guys, besides the beards, is that that I get to come on here and kind of cut it up and have fun, because my work can be serious at times, and I can be serious at times. So, oh my God, I wanted to surprise you guys and I didn't. It turns out that fake beards are a huge, wanted commodity right now. Because I looked everywhere in town, because I told you guys I might have a beard next time I come on, and it didn't happen, but I wanted to have a fake one for you. What I'm thinking is, I didn't follow through, but I'm thinking, why don't I grow a beard this spring and summer while I'm backpacking? And I think you guys should grow soul patches.
Oh man.
It's gonna cramp your style big time.
Now we're gonna lose sponsors over this, Rue. I don't know.
You will. Yes.
That might look good on John. I don't know.
I can't. Dude, I grow a soul patch, but it's almost like you could see through it. It's transparent.
Yeah.
I grow the blondest hair right here. So
yeah, you could just take a marker and
just for men,
like a dry erase marker.
I was going to say, for the people that want to join the virtual happy hour on Saturday, that is March the 20th. So just
thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, just dating it for people that are watching the replay right now or have caught it live. Sorry if you're listening to it, because this episode won't be published until after. But if you're listening to it after the published date, come join us live sometime. We have so much fun. You can interact. It's just look at that, Doc Watson.
I've just been told that I'm soul patch challenged online.
I think it's true.
I'm soul patch challenged, man. But I got neck beards down, man. So don't worry about it. We're good.
Oh man, love to have a good time, dude.
And we're always having we have a story time with me that's coming up as well. So go on the website. We are always doing community projects. We are always doing things with our APT community. We're not besides just the trail stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The organization piece of building the longest freaking backpacking trail anywhere. Besides that, we do races. Like I said, we do auctions. We have stuff for you to enjoy, merchants. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff, and Danny and Layla are just a huge component of that. So check us out and join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Layla just put on here, we usually have a happy hour every month. So if you miss this one, join us for another one.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Leonidas is going to start saving beard hairs for my soul patch wig. So
that's great. That's
really
great.
stoked about that one.
Well, you need it to be removable somehow, so you can take it on and off.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit, just a little bit of paste, and I'll stick right there to look nice.
Hey, I see you on Instagram, man. I know the last time you were on here, you said that, Layla and the other people are trying to get you to post more and share your adventure. Doing a great job, man. Make sure you follow my man on Insta, too. Not just the Facebook group to interact, but also Instagram. Check that out.
Yeah, and
You know, and
Layla does live streams. Like she'll do live things on Instagram quite a bit. I've actually watched a few of those where she gives updates. I don't even know if you know this is going on, but she does updates about what you're doing when you're on trail, so people know where you're at and how you're doing, which has been really cool.
I don't always know because I'm on trail, but she does update the community every Monday night on Facebook and Instagram. And so that's a time where she just shares everything that's going on with us. Because at any given time, we have a couple fundraisers and a couple of events or a couple of things that people can participate in. And just know that, we do take contributions and everything goes into the organization and is also going to help fund the rest of the hike, which is about 3,000 miles this summer. So
fantastic. Anything else that you want to share before we sign off here?
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like I wanted to say that something that I haven't made real public or talked about is this was a vision and a dream that I had, and I did not have any of the resources to do this. What I mostly had was experience. I mean, I was already a triple crowner. I've been backpacking for 20 years, whatever. But as far as taking care of the day-to-day, it's just been a huge community piece. I so appreciate it. And I want to repay that to you this spring and summer by, I'm not going to be shy on social media anymore. We're going to share. And we're going to share what's going on daily. What's going on, not in real time, but daily, what's actually happening in the backcountry. So look for like a lot more footage and seeing a lot more of me. And also, if you have an interest in the Northern Rockies or the North Cascades, tune in the spring and summer on Instagram or my Patreon or Facebook, because these may be areas that you want to go see for yourself.
Does this mean that there's a possibility that if someone's chasing you with a gun, you're going to video the whole thing for us?
It's quite possible. I mean, there were so many things. There were so many things I could have videotaped like this last time around, but I mean, yeah, I'll probably videotape them. Like, my experience is if they're going to shoot, it's kind of difficult to do much with them. So you could at least have a little bit of fun. Like, there smile, you're on camera, they shoot you.
I'm just thinking about Jeremiah chasing you with a club without a shirt
shoes.
on. You know, that's all I'm thinking about.
No shirt or shoes. You're gonna have to put some, like, you're gonna have to put on a lot of weight though, Jeremiah, to kind of meet this guy. A little bit, not too much, just a little bit.
We can do that. No shirt, no shoes, no problem, baby. Let's do it.
And you already have that. And you already have that like weird, crazy, like kind of like serial killer look to you. So I think you're set, Jeremiah.
That may be my favorite statement that's ever been said on this entire live stream ever. The fact that Jeremiah was just told he looks like a serial killer.
Well, I mean, and a lot of hey, Jeremiah, listen, a lot of serial killers are known for their looks. So, you know, it was a compliment. It was a compliment. I mean, they're like creepy but handsome.
Come on, Hawkers.
I know that. I know it was meant in the most enduring way.
It was.
Okay, good.
There's a lot of love in that.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
but I just want to thank everyone, and please, you know, I do have a real challenge coming ahead of me here this spring and summer, and you know, I've just been through the health ringer, and we were getting that situated, but I've got a hell of a challenge ahead of me, and I just really hope I get to share that all with you, and that you'll join me, and we'll get to finish this thing together.
Absolutely. Support our man, Rue. Awesome.
That's awesome, man. Well, Rue, thank you so much. And we'll definitely get you back on here next fall. You're going to have to be at least once or twice a year on this podcast from now on. It's got to happen.
I would just love that, but I'm going to be looking for the soul patches. I'm just saying.
I'm
starting to collect. I want to start collecting those beard hairs from these guys that are like saving me up the hair for my soul patch. Except my soul patch, man, if they're saving, I know what some of these guys look like, and if they're saving me hairs, this thing may be the bushiest, longest soul patch you've ever seen in your life.
I'm so excited.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to talk to you again. If you want to hang out for just a minute in the green room, we'll wrap up the live stream and then pop up in there and then close out.
Great. Can I hear that jam again?
Oh, absolutely.
What's going on, Hawkers?
We'll see you, man.
Everyone, take care. Stay the trail, folks. Stay the trail.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
What a
That was
pleasure.
so much fun, man. I was not expecting the conversation on backcountry underwear that we received. And if you're listening or if you're watching right now, when is this getting released online, Jeremiah, for people that came in late that want to watch this online?
So
want to listen to it online.
Obviously the replay is available, but if you're wanting to watch that replay on the Backpacking Podcast YouTube channel, it is the 31st. May 31st is when the audio and the video will be published on the YouTube channel. So, yeah.
So definitely look forward to that. If you're getting in late, you have missed a lot.
It's crazy.
This was hilarious, man. This was a lot of fun today. Jeremiah, I don't know about you, but I think this is a great time to wrap this up. I've got nothing else to add tonight. Do you?
I will say that on Monday, David Gray is going to grace us with his presence, and we have a couple of episodes that are coming up that I'm going to be talking about some photography, some backwoods photography, and getting into some interactive stuff. So look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna share with some incredible photography with you guys over the next couple of weeks from David Gray next week, and then the week after that, we got another special guest coming in. It's just gonna be an awesome couple of weeks, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you everybody that has come in live and that is just listening and that's watching the replay. Conversation is great. The comments are great. The live comments are insane. So if you do join us live, we can post some of those up here on the screen for the guests to see and for us to see while we're, interacting with you. But just thank you everybody so much for the support. The podcast is growing. I can't believe it after the conversations we have, but it's always fun.
We just crossed 76,000 listens on just the audio podcast.
Yeah.
76,000 listens, which is really cool.
It's insane. And the YouTube channel is growing. We're posting the video version on there for people to check out. And,
just a reminder, we're not showing these live streams starting in June where they will not be on our personal YouTube channels anymore. They will only be on the Backpacking Podcast.
Right. That'll be good. Everybody can comment. Everybody can see everybody's comments, no matter if they're on my channel or yours. So I just want to say a huge thank you for everybody that's supporting us and keep tuning in because we're going to keep rocking and rolling.
And tomorrow night, don't forget on Canoe Hound Adventures, I think 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be on with him. He said he laughed so hard tonight his throat is sore, so he might be hoarse tomorrow night when we're meeting with him. So go check out Canoe Hound Adventures. That's going to be tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. It's the first time somebody's actually interviewed us. So
it's going to be unique.
It may be the most boring episode anybody's ever listened to.
I know people asking us questions. I don't know how to answer.
I don't know, man. It is definitely going to be fun. We're going to have a good time tomorrow night. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. And for myself and Jeremiah, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Adios.
What's going on, Hawkers?